Chelsea head to Elland Road tomorrow night to take on relegation-threatened Leeds United, managed by Daniel Farke, who knows a thing or two about relegation. After an amazing win against Barcelona and an absolutely brilliant draw against Arsenal, are Chelsea about to come unstuck against what is inevitably going to be a sticky low block? Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And today we're talking about previewing, if you will, the match tomorrow against Leeds United, which is a really important match, man, because it's all about momentum, isn't it? It's easy to say, yeah, okay, we beat Barcelona and we got the draw against Arsenal with 10 men, unbelievable. But if we take our foot off the pedal for a second, any Premier League team can give us trouble, and I expect Leeds United to be no different. But guys, before we get into it, if you're enjoying the content and would like to see more, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so we'll start with the press conference. Maresca had a couple of interesting things to say, and then we will move on to Leeds themselves in their sticky situation that they're in, and then we'll have a little look at the starting 11. But Maresca's presser. So a couple of interesting things that Maresca was asked about in his presser. The first one for me of note, of course, was Cole Palmer. So is Cole Palmer expected to play in this game? Probably is the answer. According to Maresca, Cole Palmer was actually planned to be featuring in the Arsenal game, but obviously when we went down to 10 men, that changes things, and it's, all of a sudden the pressure's like massive, isn't it? So yeah, the idea was for Cole Palmer to get minutes in the Arsenal game. I imagine he's going to get minutes in this game based on what Maresca said, and essentially he said that he's just going to get minutes and cursory minutes here and there until we can play his way back into full fitness. So we're probably not going to see Cole Palmer in the starting 11, but that's fine. Another question, obviously, he was asked about is a little bit about Reece James, Moises Caicedo, the whole midfield debacle, the situation, man, because it is a whole situation. Our midfield has been a situation for a little while now. Our depth is in the absolute bin. Asugo out, Lavia out. We are playing fullbacks in midfield on a regular basis, but he spoke a little bit about the Reece James thing, which I think is interesting. He said that Reece James plays at both positions very well, and when he puts Reece James in midfield, it's because he wants physicality. Reece James was incredible against Arsenal, but with Caicedo out and so many games coming up, again, personally, I don't expect to see Reece James start in this game. But who I do expect to see start in this game, and we'll get into the starting lineup in a minute, but little spoiler, I guess, is Andre Santos, who he was also asked about. Maresca was quite candidly asked, do you think Andre Santos is ready to step in for Moises Caicedo? And he said yes, an absolute resounding yes. He sees Andre Santos with the ability to play that number 6 role. Most recently, he did it at Burnley. He played that lone 6 role by himself, and he was brilliant against Burnley. So, look, okay, it's Burnley and, it's Leeds. We're not talking about the Barcelonas and the Arsenals here. But at the same time, I 100% expect Andre Santos to be able to come into the side and replace Moises Caicedo, at least for this game, if not in the next few games as well. He was also asked about, what to expect from Leeds, right? And he made a really interesting point. You would have thought that Daniel Farke, being that they are looming in that relegation zone, one win or a draw can get them out of it, but it's very easy for them to fall back into it. You would expect to come up a stodgy sort of low block team and potentially a back 5, but Maresca has obviously been doing his research. He said that of all of the games that Daniel Farke played with Leeds, for the most part, he's only played a back 5 6 or 7 times, and when he was the Norwich manager, he also generally played a back 4 as well, and we saw it with Burnley, right? Burnley was actually a bit of a surprise. We all thought, including my friend who's a Burnley fan, that Burnley were just going to put 10 men behind the ball for the entire game, but that's absolutely not what happened. So we could see something similar from Leeds United. Truth be told, that will play into our hands because, as we've seen recently, we definitely play better against teams who come at us and play attacking football, and so far we are still yet to completely figure out how to beat that low block. So Maresca thinks Daniel Farke is unpredictable, right? Because he played a back 5 in the second half of the Man City game, but, generally he plays a back 4. They're in a situation where they really need to get at least a point out of this game, though, man. That 1 point can literally get them out of the relegation zone, albeit temporarily. So Leeds, let's talk about Leeds. Leeds are having a terrible season. Personally, man, from, not being a Leeds fan myself, I have spoken to one recently, actually, but I just don't think Daniel Farke is a Premier League manager. I think Daniel Farke is a Championship manager, and he has had enough opportunities in the Premier League to prove that he's a Premier League manager, and he's never done it. He basically gets relegated every single time, and I kind of expect to see that this season as well, to be honest. Leeds have lost all 4 of their last games, with their last win coming on the 24th of October, against West Ham. That was obviously pretty sure that was before West Ham had swapped out Graham Potter as well for Nuno, who they've got now. Graham Potter is also an absolutely terrible manager, albeit maybe not exactly as bad as Daniel Farke. But Leeds are having a horrendous season, man. They've won 3 games all season, and they've lost 9 of their 14 overall. And a wounded animal is a thing to be cautious about, 100%. Like I say, man, it'd be so easy for us to go in being like, right, smash Burnley, smashed Barcelona, really good result against Arsenal. Take your foot off the pedal at the end of the day. And as you'll see in my starting 11, I'm expecting us to heavily rotate our side. Chances are we're not going to see all of these players that have been in stellar form. So as far as my idea for the rotation goes, we've got Bournemouth at the weekend, and that is going to be a tough fixture. And then next week, in another 3 days after that, we've got Atalanta in the Champions League. Those 2 games, we're going to need our full fit starting 11 for, do you know what I mean? So it does 100% make sense to me for us to heavily rotate in this game, to give players rest and other players opportunities as well, because that's just got to be a thing, hasn't it? We've got such a big squad. These players are not going to be particularly happy if they are just constantly sitting on the bench or not getting in the squad at all. So just before we get into the starting 11, let's have a little look at the team news, right? So Cole Palmer is available and is probably going to be on the bench. I very, very highly doubt he's going to start this game. Dario Asugo has been training with the team recently, so he's making his way back from injury, but I think based on what Maresca said, he's had a little bit of a setback, so probably won't be joining the matchday squad anytime particularly soon. Romeo Lavia is still out, Levi Colwill is still out, but apart from that, we've pretty much got everyone else available. Bar Moises Caicedo, of course, who is serving his first of 3 match bans, and we won't see him for Leeds, Bournemouth or Everton. So that's the team news and the presser out of the way. Let's get into my predicted 11 for tomorrow night against Leeds in the Premier League at Elland Road. So, as you can see, quite plainly, I have gone in on the rotation, and there's someone I've put in there that in a bit of a weird position, and that is literally just because Maresca mentioned it in his press conference. So, one thing I haven't changed is Robert Sanchez in goal. Now, I'm not going to lie, normally, I would actually have thought this would be the kind of game that Philip Jorgensen would get, but Philip Jorgensen has come out recently saying he's not very happy and he wants to leave and stuff, so instantly that's like, if your head's not in the game, you can't start, man. We might look to sort our goalkeeper situation out in January. I'm still not really sure what's going on with that yet. Still lots more talks about Mike Maignan. But at the end of the day, Robert Sanchez, not only is his head in the right place because he's reasonably happy being on number 1 at the moment, he's been playing really, really, really well. Last season, he made 5 errors leading to goals, which was a league high. And we had this whole thing about the anxiety, right? The anxiety, the lack of confidence, but we're not seeing that this season. And his distribution's getting better as well. That was another thing that Enzo Maresca said in the press conference. He's always been a reasonably good shot stopper, but his distribution, especially against Arsenal, was actually improving as well. Right back, I'm going to put Malagusto. Malagusto seems to just be one of those players that can play every single game. He is a utility player, and whether he actually plays in right back, I don't know, but I do expect to see him on the pitch. I've gone for a centre-back pairing of Benoit Badiashile and Tosin Adarabioyo, which just seems like the obvious thing now. Trevor Chalobah and Wesley Fofana are hands down our best starting centre-back pairing when fit and available, but in a game like this where we do need to rotate, I would actually be reasonably happy to see Badiashile and Tosin get the starts. Left back, I'm hoping another opportunity for Yoro Hato because we really haven't seen that much of him this season. That's kind of a twofold thing, isn't it? At the end of the day, Cucurella is Cucurella. And Cucurella is literally so ridiculously good. Yoro Hato, I think the good thing about Yoro Hato is he drops into that left centre-back role quite well. So if Malagusto does play, then he can get into the midfield, pack the midfield, invert in there, and Yoro Hato quite nicely handles that left centre-back role, but can also get forward and create chances himself. So the midfield pivot. First one, I'll do the obvious one, Andre Santos. Almost a given that he's going to play this game. Like I say, he absolutely smashed it against Burnley. We need to rotate. Caicedo's not available. It just, it's just written in the stars, isn't it? Andre Santos, hopefully, if he can give us another performance like he did against Burnley, I think we'll be absolutely fine. And the other midfielder I'm putting in is, we've never seen it before, and if Maresca hadn't said it in the press conference, I wouldn't even have thought about it, but I'm going to say Josh Achiampong. So this could be a case of Josh Achiampong actually starts in right back and Malagusto starts in midfield. But either way, Maresca said when he was being asked about midfielders in the press conference, he said, yeah, Reece James can play there, but also someone else who's very good at playing there is Josh Achiampong. So I've just put him in there for a bit of fun. It would be crazy to see it if it happens. I'd be happy for Josh Achiampong to get game time one way or the other. I think it's probably more likely that Achiampong starts in right back, right centre back sort of thing, and Malagusto starts in midfield. But either way, maybe this is a good game to get Josh Achiampong on the pitch. Centre attacking midfield for Facundo Buonanotte, because who else? That's just the thing at the moment, isn't it? These are the sorts of games that he's been coming in for. Cole Palmer is probably going to feature off of the bench. Enzo Fernandez has largely been playing there for us recently. João Pedro occasionally when we have Liam Delap up top, but João Pedro started the Arsenal game, and like I say, we need all of our best players available for the Bournemouth and the Atalanta fixtures that are coming up. So this seems like a reasonable time to give Facundo Buonanotte a shot. On the left, I've gone for Jamie Gittins again. Much like the Burnley game, just feels like a really good opportunity for him. I do think Garnacho ultimately is a bit in front of Jamie Gittins at the moment, if I'm being completely honest. Although he did a good job in the Arsenal game when Garnacho did when he came on, but he didn't magically make anything happen. But ultimately, it feels like Garnacho is our first choice left wing option, or at least there's a debate between him and Pedro Neto with the form of Esteval on the right. So just bearing that in mind, I think this is a good opportunity to give Jamie Gittins some minutes. On the right, I've gone for Tyreek George, and that's largely because Pedro Neto and Esteval have been playing so much recently, and both of them seem to be really integral to the first team squad. Again, from a rotated side, I think the Esteval needs a rest now. Do you know what I mean? He obviously smashed it in the Barcelona game, tried his best in the Arsenal game, but wasn't quite, able to make something happen. Maybe he comes off the bench later in the game to get some minutes, I'm not sure, but I think he could feature in the next two games after this as well. And Pedro Neto needs a rest as well. Like, he was just bombing up and down that right-hand side, man, against Arsenal. He was running so much, and again, really, really important player for our first team in the slightly more difficult fixtures we've got coming up. So just by process of elimination and seeing that we haven't got a huge amount of other wingers that can play that spot quite well, maybe this is the time to give Tyreek George a shot. And up front, I've gone for Liam Delap. So I'd like to see Mark Yu get some minutes in this game, truth be told, but I think Liam Delap needs the minutes more at the end of the day. Like, Mark Yu is one of those, isn't it? He's probably just going to get sold or go out on loan or something, maybe go back to Sunderland, I don't know, not 100% sure, but Liam Delap is a rotational striker. Him and João Pedro are going to be used for different games, and I think this is just going to be a good shot to give Liam Delap some more minutes. So that's it, guys. That is my starting 11 for the Leeds game tomorrow night at Elland Road in the Premier League. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you think we'll rotate this heavily? I know throwing Josh Achiampong in midfield was maybe a bit of a misnomer, but at the same time, like I said, that could just as easily be Josh Achiampong at right back and Malagusto in midfield as well. But it just feels like this is a good game to rotate the squad, right? Leeds are on an absolutely terrible run of form at the moment. Like I say, losing their last 4 games and losing 9 games of their 14 this season. So this is kind of a mix. Do you know what I mean? It's not all just youngsters. Benoit Badiashile, Tosin Adarabioyo, good players. Malagusto, good player. Andre Santos, good player. Jamie Gittins and Tyreek George, Josh Achiampong, Facundo Buonanotte. These are the guys that need to be getting minutes. But ultimately, even though it's heavily rotated against this Leeds team, I think that could be a strong lineup. So guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks very much for sticking around until the end of the video if you did. If you're chilling and you've got a tasty beverage, you want to listen to some more football rambles from me at the Stamford Sink, then I urge you to check out this video here, which is a video I released yesterday, and it's a stat battle, a stattle, if you will, comparing Esteval Willian and Giovanni Quenda, who is one of our assets currently plying his trade at Sporting Lisbon. Nice one, guys. I hope you all have an absolutely wicked day, and I'll catch up with you very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.